Hi, welcome back to another video, or welcome to a video if you've never seen me before. My name's Annabelle, and I'm here. I was about to say, and I make videos, and I do, but they're occasional, and I'm still figuring out like what exactly they all are, but I have wanted to do this video for like about a month or so, and it's just, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, but I do want to kind of take you through what my menstrual cycle looks like, and maybe that's not the perfect way to phrase it. So like stick with me here. Where I'm coming from, I guess, is the best place to start. My life changed, and my life has changed in the past like 5 or 6 years as I've started like living in rhythm with my cycle. Everyone has one. If you're a male, or if you have like a male sex body, you'll have a male endocrine system. You go on a 24-hour cycle. If you've got a female endocrine system, you're on a 28 to 34 day cycle. And I am specifically like making those like biological differences because I am somebody that is on the like female sex spectrum. I will, and I'm going to try my hardest not to say just women, because I understand that it isn't just women that have periods, but please forgive me if I slip up on that. I'm trying to come from, like, I guess I'm trying to come from the place inside of myself where all of this knowledge is kind of brewing and sitting. But I might not be perfect at delivering it. But yeah, I really care about women's health. I really care about women's health in general. My life changed ever since I started really looking into what was known a couple of years ago as like cycle syncing, but people talked about like seed cycling. I think was like the thing that got really big. I never really looked. I tried doing the seed cycling thing. It never really took with me. But what did take off, I think due to that, and then just due to my own personal experiences with my hormones, took me on a big journey of like trying to figure it out. And I know I'm not the only one that's been on one of those journeys recently. And I think as amazing as like social media is for like access of information, I also think it's really important to have like communal education or communal learning, like a kind of space where you can go and you can understand like that I am just another 27, almost 28-year-old woman. I know what I know, and I feel comfortable and I feel really empowered by the knowledge that I have. I am by no means a medical expert, a women's health practitioner, specialist, anything like that. But healthcare is a really difficult thing, I think, to get into. And also even just like when you look at information into women's health, it can sometimes be really overwhelming. Because you might not necessarily know how to apply it. And that's where I think the whole community strength lies, is that you can talk to people who are trying to do the same thing, like trying to apply the same knowledge and information that you're getting and trying to see if it works or happens. And so I think that's where I feel comfortable at the moment. Like I'm definitely going to share like some things that I know, some things that I've learned, but mostly what I want to do is just give you an insight to like how I go about living in menstrual, where I make my decisions from, like where I kind of try to have my perspective and my head's at, because I think it's such a blessing to have information at our fingertips, but sometimes it's really hard to know what to do with it or how to start moving with it. And that's kind of what I want to share. I want to share just maybe an example, because we all have to, if we want to start anything, the best, like I guess, it just goes all the way back to when you're a baby. Like you learn through seeing. We learn through so many things. We learn through listening. We learn through like copying. We learn through trial and error. We learn through self-discovery. But I think it is really important to have examples shown, like ones that are real and flawed, and also in the process of learning, and also in the process of like, you know, like just figuring it out. I think the more that we just see one another in the really grueling reality that of like figuring things out, it can help us feel like not alone. And I know I'm not alone, but it can help, hopefully, maybe something that if you're on the other end of this video, maybe getting into like cycle stuff has felt really overwhelming, or it just feels like you don't know where to start, or maybe you don't know when to start in your cycle. Like maybe you don't quite know like the nitty and gritty, like everything. And I'm sorry that this video can't just give you everything that you need to know. But if this, I don't know, if it reaches the people that I really hope it reaches, which is, I don't know, anyone that needs it, maybe I'll get more inspiration. Because right now, all I'm really thinking is like doing stuff for menstrual and doing stuff for luteal, because I know that those are two parts where I really had to like nut into stuff. And more recently, I've been trying to figure out how to like even out my experience of follicular ovulation. So that's where I'm still kind of like delving into the nitty gritty and like really trying to feel my waves in there. But for now, what I feel like I can share is what I know a little bit about, which is menstrual, and then also like the trough after ovulation into luteal. So yeah, I want to do a little bit of that. And so I will be honest, I'm going to do like I'm going to be practicing what I preach. And like the first thing that it's not like I'm going to be labeling things 1 to 10. But the first thing is like listening to your body and believing it. That's like the first thing that I think I could ever take away from like this whole cycle syncing, living with your rhythm kind of thing, is listening to your body. It is a skill. It isn't something that just innately comes to you, because we have a lot of different voices that come out from inside of us, but listening to your body and believing it. And yeah, hopefully as this video goes on, I'm going to be able to like show a little bit of how you do that, like how to listen to your body. Because yeah, sometimes talking isn't like always thing. Hopefully, I don't know, I have a lot of like bets on this video just working out as I film it. So stick around if you want to. Thank you for sticking with me, for choosing to share your time with me, choosing to like allow me to take up some space in your mind and in your time. And kind of like, I guess, like going along with that whole like disclaimer of I'm not a medical professional. The other disclaimer that I want to share is that I'm also coming from a place of having looked into this, worked with it for years. So in saying that I'm not a professional, I'm also saying that this stuff doesn't just like happen within like a month of doing it. So I'm also just needing to like, I feel a need to just like give that disclaimer of like all of this work, like working with your body, working with your hormones, it takes time to see results. So anything that I say is not going to be a quick fix. Anything that I say is probably not going to give really quick relief unless we start talking about pain relief. And even then it's not going to be quick. So yeah, I'm not really going to talk about any big promises of an overnight or just a change within one cycle. I guess I've also just most recently come out of having to like rebuild from an imbalance. So it's all feeling very fresh. Like these tools are feeling very, hot in my hands. Like I've recently been reaching for them and they've gotten me to a place of stability again. So I feel like that self-trust has just been reinforced in the recent months. And the other thing that I want to tack onto that is that some imbalances, like a lot of what I'm saying at the moment is I'm talking about and of a body that I don't have a lot of chronic endocrine disruption. But there's endometriosis and PCOS riddled throughout my family. I have a cyst on one of my ovaries. I did at least 2 years ago. I'm not sure where it's at the moment. This is the thing. I don't have a chronic hormone imbalance, which presents as endometriosis, PCOS, PMDD can also be a big one that comes into all of this. Also, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, this advice might be applicable, but I can't speak on that experience because I'm not there yet. If you know yourself to be somebody that has like a little bit more of imbalance, like understand that your body needs a more acute level of care, a more specialized level of care, and that's okay. And if you have that, you deserve that level of care. This just might not have a video of like answers that will really get to the bottom of things, because I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of everything because I don't think my knowledge extends that far. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well, that like, yeah, where I'm coming from at the moment is yeah, it's my personal lens, and that's all it can really be. But that still has value, and I think it is still worth sharing, because hopefully if it is just inspiration to start looking into it, or if it's me just talking about it that makes it seem more accessible, or if it's just that push, like it may be a sign, maybe even thinking about it for the past couple months, like that you want to get into it, and this is just a push, then I'm glad to be that push. But yeah, I'm going to catch you a little bit because I'm going to do the whole thing of just acknowledging that my body, I just had a massage on my hips, and there's a lot of stuff there, and I will see you with what I share a little bit later. Bye. Good morning. I did in fact take the day to be chill. I'm on day 2, which is typically my pain day. In this little section, I've got I want to talk about pain remedy. I want to talk about my little rituals that I do every morning in my menstrual, just to kind of make myself feel good. I think that's all, like morning rituals and some pain stuff, because that's what's coming up today. So what I've been doing yesterday and today is, it's based around the idea that I understand that my energy at the moment, like as you're going through luteal and as you go into menstrual, your energy is getting colder and colder and colder, and it's getting more and more and more just inward. And simultaneously as you enter menstrual, like I know flowers don't always do this. Actually, no, they do, where they wilt and wither. They wilt and wither, and then they drop a seed. Like there's something in that goes in and then they release. That's essentially how I like to imagine what's happening with my body. Is like luteal is the closing, withering, and then there is this release that comes. Yes, so my personal being doesn't want to be doing any moving because it's already moving a lot. It's already shedding. So there is already a lot of movement happening in this, root sacral area. And there's also, when I get into like the wider cycles that are happening in life, I tend to bleed around the new moon. So you're also shedding the cycle of the last new moon cycle from Aries. That's a lot for me. And when I have a particularly dense release, every morning I open up all the windows in my home. I put some incense on. At the start of it, I call in like a lot of support in clearing. When I say ritual, I literally mean ritual. So I use incense to cleanse. I set an intention to help, for like asking for help and thanking and like being grateful for help to support this flow, like to support the flow, to support the movement, as my body is doing a lot of it and I need and want my environment to match that. So yeah, I find that really helpful. Yeah, so I like to open all my windows, set an intention, use some incense to cleanse, and just let the house feel really aired out. I tend to do that most Saturdays anyway. That's like a day that I like to do that. I feel good, and I think I feel good because I've been asking for the help and I've been doing similar things in my luteal. I've been setting myself up and setting myself up for success. As you should. Yeah, so ritual for my home. Then I make a little hot chocolate every day. It shifts and changes with what I need. The shift that it takes in menstrual is I get rid of a lot of my energizing or stimulating herbs or mushrooms that I put in here. So today again is an exception because I'm planning to go into work. Depending on how stressful my luteal or like just my cycle in general has been, I'll keep up ashwagandha because I'll just need it. But if I have had a really good run and I know that I feel kind of good to just really just sit into my home, hermit, eat nice food, like either watch TV, watch movies, do some writing, do some just really slow movement. Movement's been a bit of a touchy thing for me at the moment, but there's been some times where I've been able to go into a really slow and sensual place with myself, and it's felt so healing. But another change that I make, I think I could do a whole video going into just like different kind of herbs and stuff, but also I'm not a naturopath, so that's a touchy thing. But one thing that I do like to make the change of, it feels very nice, it feels a lot more rich, is when I go into menstrual, I start making my hot chocolates. Like I use cacao, so that's unprocessed cocoa. So I usually use the powder for most of the month, and then I come into my menstrual, I'll use paste, or I don't actually know if I can call the paste that I use ceremonial grade, because it's not sold as, it's sold as cacao paste, but you'd probably know it as, like, when you see ceremonial grade cacao, it's that cacao that's been processed in a particular way that gets it to this paste that's put in a block. I just buy, my partner buys just buys cacao paste from eBay. It's not listed as ceremonial grade, but it is a lot rich. I don't particularly mind, because I have reverence and respect for ceremonial grade things. I think they go through a process and I respect that, but it is often quite a bit more expensive. And this, I still think like the spirit of the plant is still in there. I still bless it, I still commune with it, I still, you know, I still treat it as if it's there. I do that even if it's just like the powder, even if I'm not buying organic like from the co-op, like even if I'm just buying the powder from Woolworths because I'm short on money or time, like I still treat it as its source, because it is. So yeah, I don't know, make your own choices with that or around that, but I do find it so much, I feel so much more nourishing and present and here, and I just love it. And it is a bit of a treat to come onto your period just to be like, oh, chocolate. It's nice. It's nice. But yeah, amp up the rose in here as well. And that it just feels a little bit richer, and I feel like my body likes it, because there's cacao's got magnesium. It's a great source of magnesium, so that helps your body just relax a little bit more. It's also really good for your heart. I think that's the thing, that when you look up cacao, like health benefits, it's really good for your blood circulation and your heart, so it's really supportive there. And when you're in a time where you're kind of just a little bit more open in your feelings, it's just nice to have some support there, because I find that this area is often working as hard as down here is. But yeah, that's like all for like the rituals that I like, that at least the ones that I know that I'm going to right now, and then some of the ones like the dancing and the movement and whatever. But yeah, the other thing that I want to talk about, which I will be using is packs. So I mean, if you've ever had a period, you just know that heat is your best friend. If you have a pack that you can do, like oil packs or castor oil packs, that's the most common thing that it's learned for, whatever. Quite often they come with these little pouches. This would be my dream. This would be my dream if I had that, but I don't. So I'm taking a water bottle to work just to press on here, and it's amazing. Even if it's so cute, even if I don't have a water bottle, we have a water bottle at work for that. Beautiful, I love it. This, if you don't know what a castor oil pack is, essentially, you get some castor oil, you put it on your belly. You get like a pretty good, like you warm it up in your hands, pour it on your hands, warm it up in your hands, because as if you're gonna put anything cold. Don't do that. That's the other thing. Tip, keep your feet warm. Warm feet, warm womb. Keep your feet warm. If you can keep any part of your body warm, keep your feet warm, as well as here. But yeah, I put on a layer of castor oil, and then depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what kind of force I'm fronting that day, how my cramps are going, I'll either use, now this, I know some people don't like this. Thankfully, I'm not recommending this as a practitioner. I'm recommending this as a girl. Sometimes I put some essential oils on my body. I put 1 drop. If anything, it is 1 drop, and I put it in with the castor oil, so it has carrier oil. If you're ever gonna put essential oils on your body, I understand why people are up in arms about this. Use a carrier oil. These are I feel like for me, I've always experienced it as okay, even if I have put it straight on my skin, but I just like to think about it as being kind to your body. Like, it's like it's in my head, it's also like maybe why we flavor medicine, or it's a barrier. It's a barrier for your body to be able to process something efficiently, like calmly, like as low impact as possible. And that is a kindness that you should extend to your body. Like, sure, you can do whatever the fuck you want. This is just how I view it. Some people might even hate the fact that I put essential oils on my belly in my period. Who knows? People can have all kinds of opinions. That's why we have brains. Anyway, it depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I feel like it, sometimes I don't. I don't think I feel like it today. I think today I feel like magnesium. Yay. This is magnesium, and I think it's got arnica in it as well. I'll put this on my body. I'm going to rub this on before castor oil because it's a cream. Oil, how I would layer this is if I'm putting on magnesium, if I'm putting any kind of cream, even if you have a cream that has essential oils blended into it, like I know that Australian Bushflower Essences does this cream that's the women's blend, and it's got really beautiful. I used to rub that on, like, if I have really tender chests, like if I have really tender breasts. I went through a period of having really, really, really tender breasts, and it was, you know, if you're someone that experiences it, you know, it's not great. It's kind of gone away, like it's still a symptom. It's one of those signs that I can tell that I'm getting really, really close. It only ever really comes back a day or two before my period, but some people have that like sensitivity, sometimes just all of their life, or every day, really, really sensitive boobs. Oh my God, girl, you're a strong woman. Some people have it for like, you know, it's just different patches. I found that really, really helpful. I don't know what essential oils it had in it, but that would be another example of a cream that you can layer it on. Am I gonna show my body? Can you see it? I'm not moving. I layered it on, probably my belly button is here, right out of camera. I probably put it to where my solar plexus would be, down to like just under my navel, like around where your uterus is, just like your whole abdomen. I put it on, and then I'd put on a castor oil, and it's while I pull my castor oil in my hand that I'd put the essential oil in it, rub it up, put it on. Another cream actually that I could talk about is this. My partner actually bought this for me when I was having a pretty bad period time, and I was just looking at extra things because it has, what is it? I'm pretty sure it's got Vitex in it. That's usually what saves me from really, really bad imbalances. It's twice now in the past 6 years I've used Vitex, but it's also got this. But that is, again, it's a supplement. It is one that like is really great for your hormones, but it also is one that if you're considering using it, you should be looking up if that's the thing that you need. You know, really look into it before you use something like that, because it's quite a strong herb. It's also called chaste tree, I think, but all herbs are very, very strong, but it significantly impacts your hormones. So just look into it before just being like, oh, I have some bad cramping, I guess I'm just going to take this thing. Be discerning, do your research. This isn't usually like this is Anna's Wild Yam Cream. And with, it's actually, yeah. It's got Vitex. Traditionally used in Western herbal medicine to relieve menstrual pain and spasms and help reduce the occurrence of menopausal symptoms. My menopausal girlies. Fuck yeah. So this you do need to be using it continually. If you want this to like fix your cycle, if you're using it from an unbalanced place and you want it to bring it in balance, you need to be using it ongoingly, like Vitex, and you'd be taking it for a couple of months before you really see regulation start to come in. But it is very helpful. I would recommend it. I would also recommend you do your research about what's going on in your body. But it is also, since my body's used it, my body's pretty familiar with it. When I put it on, I do have a pretty instant reaction. Like if I put it on today, it will help me with my cramps. I know that much. So will this. And so I'm going to do this and castor oil, because castor oil also helps with continuing the cleansing, continuing the flushing of your body. If I'm doing anything It's going to be keeping me warm, and it's going to be supporting the flow, like supporting the release, supporting the flushing, supporting the unbecoming of my body. If I'm going to be doing anything, I am not going to be pushing myself, exerting myself outwards, externalizing myself to a ridiculous degree. You will not fucking catch me running. You will not catch me going to a party. You will, like, that's what I mean by, like, I'm making a decision that's very adjacent or like contrasting to what I'd usually do. You would not catch me going into work for an 8-hour shift. Fuck that. Prioritize yourself and prioritize the fact that your body is doing a lot. It may be like, and that's the other thing, is that, like, this is the thing about sometimes women's health and women's issues that pushes it under the rug, like childbirth or pregnancy. Just because it happens every single month, just because it happens to every single person that has a period, that carries a baby, does not negate the intensity of it and, like, how dense of a period of life to be in. Like, your body is shedding physically, emotionally, energetically, on so many levels. It is doing a lot. Respect that. Know that you are allowed to respect it. You're not silly for respecting it. You're not being dramatic. You're not too sensitive. You are honoring your body. And it may be doing something that's natural, and that'll happen even if you don't do these things. And I don't know, there's a lot of ways that I think I have been told myself, that I've heard other people been told, that I think there's sometimes just this subliminal rhetoric that goes around, like, these cycles and these experiences that we go through as women, that, like, it happens to everyone. And, like, you know, like, if it's not that bad, then it's not that bad. Or, like, if it's going to happen anyway, like, you may as well just live your life. And it's like, you can, and it shouldn't stop you from living your life. Like, if I really, really wanted to go on a hike, I probably wouldn't. But if you're someone with a period and you really want to go on a hike on day 2 of your cycle, go for it. But take care of your body afterwards. Like, you can do both. Like, I don't think your cycle should ever be something that should restrict you. I think it should only be something that informs. It's a greater window into how you, as your body, are, what you can cope with, what you can hold, what you can handle, and what you're set for. And I only think it is a blessing to be aware of that, and to be aware of, like, okay, if I go on a hike today, it is my day 2 and I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to put a castor oil pack on. I'm going to have a hot water bottle, or I'm going to bring, like, my gas stove so I can heat up hot water for the car ride home. And I'm going to have a change of socks so I can put some fresh socks on my feet and my feet can feel comfy after I've just done a hike. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it should never be a restriction. It should be information that you have to be able to empower and take care and support yourself. That is, I feel so passionately about that. And that's why I feel like I can go into work if, like, I know that I have all these tools that will support me. I know it's not going to throw me into hell. And I know that I can, like, sit and know that this decision's coming from a good place. And I just wish every single person in this world could learn. It's like, not even just women. I wish this is just how I wish everyone could be. I think that's the bulk of, like, I guess my passion and my philosophy behind why this is so important to me. But yeah, I still have to text my boss that I'm going to go in today. I haven't actually done that because it's been really early, but I'm going in at 10 o'clock. So I'll catch you when you next see me. I'm also going to have a shower because my hair is a little bit ridiculous and I'm going into work. So you'll see me maybe later today, maybe not, maybe on another day, probably. Maybe on the weekend. You'll catch me when you catch me, and I'll be talking about something else equally as interesting. on the home stretch. And today I kind of want to talk about something, I mean, it's a mixture of like physical stuff, but it's mostly mental. Like the mental kind of headspace of menstrual. I want to talk about it because I think we're kind of, I don't know, I think we're kind of sold a lie in a lot of the most traditional ways that we're told in modern socialization about our period. Like, I think quite often we come away from learning about our period as our cycle as something that overarchingly, as a general statement, is something that takes from us or that restricts us or is an inconvenience. And I will die on the hill that it's not true. And I don't believe it is true. And I feel so frustrated. I feel so frustrated that lives in so many women and people with periods. Because yeah, it's just, I think one of the biggest things, like one of the biggest leaves of empowerment to turn over is to find strength and to find a gift within like these few days that we are restricted. And I put air quotations because I don't believe that's true. Yeah, so the perspective shift, like the story that you tell yourself while you're in this phase, like the things, the thoughts, the beliefs that you have around this period of your life. When you feel irritable, you feel more sensitive, you feel like your tolerance is a bit lower, you don't really feel like you have anything to give, it's harder to externalize. Like everything that is outside of staying in a comfortable bubble and not having to be on for the world feels like a struggle. Like I know like the minute I enter luteal, if I'm at work specifically, because that is the area of my life that has the most challenges and the most need for me to be on, to be present for someone outside of myself, like to be in a role that is greater than just serving my own interests. And that is the most challenging time to be anywhere on your period. And unfortunately, we're all in so many different kind of, I don't know, like we're all in different, if you've got kids, you've got different schedules that you have to be on. If you go to uni, you've got a different schedule. Like we have so many different systems and structures and schedules that we have to be in that it is really easy to feed into the idea that this period of time where you feel like all you can really muster is just to be and nothing more, that feels like the problem more than the external structures. And if you're watching this video, I hope you are somebody that's of the mind that like that is incorrect and that's wrong. And that is not how we should be viewing it. Like, yeah, I don't know. It gets me kind of fired up. So my expression starts to like falter a little bit because I get a little bit emotional of just like, oh my God, no, it's just couldn't be further from the truth. And I think that's part of like the disempowerment of the patriarchy. Anyway, we'll not get political or like socialist about it, but socialist, that's not what I wanted to say, but like we're not going to like socio-political context of things. We're just talking about vibes. So kind of what I want to talk about with that perspective, for me, it is understanding what your body and what your energy is wanting out of this time in menstrual. And I view it as this kind of like energetic sandwich. And I went into a little bit before when I was talking about the cleansing rituals and stuff, like, and what I want my body to be doing. Essentially, I want to be in an environment where the energy around me is moving. I'm helping the energy within me keep moving, keep shedding, but my body and my being is predominantly still. Like that's the kind of homeostasis or like that's the kind of place that I want to be. And that's the direction that that's the goal that what am I trying to do? Like when I'm choosing tools, I'm choosing ones that help me support this sense of equilibrium inside of me. And so that is, and it's easy to do when I'm at home. When I have, like, if I get my period over a weekend or over like the days that I have off at work, this is very easy because I get to be in my comfort place. I get to do whatever I want, and it gets to be very intuitive. But when I'm not, like if I have to go out shopping, if I have to go to work like I did the other day, I do what I was doing. I have my heat back with me, I have my castor with me with my lavender. Another thing that I do is like using like herbs, supplements to keep my body in that state of equilibrium, primarily focusing on magnesium. Magnesium is such an important herb because it promotes rest, it promotes relaxation. Ashwagandha is another one. It is a, what is it called? Adaptogen. Helps your body, like, it helps your adrenal system process and manage stress and cortisol levels. So I'm going to briefly talk about like a couple of things, and then I'm going to go back into my spiel of like why it's really important to like live within your cycle and like ways to like view it. But to help my body be in its ideal form, there are 2 tea blends that I've tended to lean on, and you can definitely find these ingredients in teas, like in pre-made tea bags at Coles and Woolworths. I've seen them. Or you can do what I do, which is having like the dry leaves and then blending it yourself. There are no rules, essentially. Like, you could do what you can do, use what's within your means. Don't get like, I think one of the bigger things when you're like learning about menstrual stuff and like taking care of your body can be kind of like intimidating, is when you see people use like dry organic herbs all the time, and like just know that like using tea bags that you get at the store is fine. But I have like a kind of more supportive utilitarian tea, which is my like raspberry leaf nettle. They're the golden girls. They are the golden girls of menstrual stuff. If you look up any kind of herbs, there's a couple, Shavasar, I'm not going to be able to say that word. There's one herb that's in Ayurveda that's amazing, and there's one in TCM, Dongquai. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say either of those words, but there's 2. Those 2 I know that are amazing, and then also other 2 herbs that are in more like Western herbs are nettle and raspberry leaf. I think nettle's really high in calcium. I think it's also high in iron. I don't think it's high in magnesium. High in calcium, high in iron, really, really good for blood, as well as raspberry leaf, really, really good for your blood. Also promotes like your blood circulation, so your uterine lining, like the process of the shedding of your uterine lining is supported by raspberry leaf. I'm gonna be so freaking honest, there's not a lot in my body at the moment. I'm in one of my troughs. I don't remember all like the little bits and bobs, but I do know nettle, raspberry leaf, golden girls. I have that with calendula and rose. Rose because she's it on a stick, and calendula, also one of my girlies that I just love. So I add them for vibes and for just good times. And that is like my utility tea. The other tea is for like a little bit of support of, I guess, my energy. Whereas that tea is like supporting my body, my physical matter and my physical processes. This other one, which is primarily nervines and antispasmodic herbs, helps ease my mind and like my spirit, I guess. Because it's more skullcap, which is antispasmodic. It's also a nervine alongside tulsi and lavender. Big calmer downers, big chill the fuck out girl. Big, hey, my body's in pain, but I'm gonna be all right. Any kind of weird itching, tinglings, or twitches, sometimes your legs, your feet get a bit weird, skullcap's gonna help with that. Anxiety, mulling over, overthinking, restriction, resistance, those kinds of like games that your mind can kind of start spinning, nervines help like placate that. I add licorice root into that as well because there's just something a little bit fun about licorice, and she feels really supportive. I don't actually know, I'm just calling all of my herbs she because it's a fun noun. Is that a noun? God knows. It's not my job. Yeah, licorice, there's something embodied about that root that I just love, and so she goes in there because she belongs there. I can't quite explain why, I'm sorry. But yeah, those, I think all of the energetics of those herbs are like, they cover the 2 profiles that I want to balance out in this menstrual phase. Like, I want to keep my body going, but I don't want to be doing anything physical. I don't want to have to exert myself to keep the energy moving. Because and like this is, I guess, the most important bit. Actually, the last thing, which has been this cycle experiment, is this babe, this girl. It ain't an organic herb. Does it have 20% of your daily recommended intake of sugar? Yes. Is it added sugar? Yes. Use your discernment, girly pop. I know some people are very anti-added sugar. You know yourself, you know your body, you know your diet, you know your routine. If this ain't for you, it ain't for you. It's for me, girl. It's so good. I love it. And I know what I eat. I feel comfortable introducing it to my diet. I know I'm not going to push too much sugar. It doesn't spike my cramps, which is really good, because if you don't know, now you know. Caffeine and sugar are antagonists when it comes to your period. As much as coffee is the thing that feels like it's going to be like lifting you up with your, like, through your menstrual cycle and just like getting you through the day, in my opinion, there could not be something worse that you could start drinking, but like alcohol would be worse, but like caffeine is one of the worst things that I could give myself on my period. Because if you think of it, like, if you want to think about it like metaphorically, or like with like a bit of a story, or maybe with like a pattern that you can understand, menstrual, like luteal's autumn, menstrual is winter. Your body is cold, it has no energy, it does not want to move, it wants to be in death, it wants to be withdrawn. That's why it can often be really helpful with this whole, like, considering this whole perspective thing. Now, they're like, good segue, Annabelle. You can put a lens, or I would really invite you to like adopt one of these lenses, or different lenses each time, rather than viewing this as like a time that is against you, a time that's taking days away from you, a time that you feel restricted. Try to see it from this lens of, okay, have I been doing a lot lately? Have I been overbooking myself? Have I been burning myself out? And is this next 3 to 4 days an opportunity where I now have an excuse that I can cancel some plans? I now have an excuse that I can show up to work and I can be like, hey guys, I've got low output today. Hear me out. This is where I'm at. I'm choosing to honor my energy. This is all I've got to give. So please just see that and respect it. Like, is this an invitation that you can take to just slow down? Is there, like in another example, have you been going through a lot, like emotionally? Has there been a lot that there's kind of been flowing in your mind, like subconsciously? You've been waking up from dreams. Like, is there a lot of emotions that are just processing through you right now? Are you around like a lot of people that are going through a lot of things? Are you shedding? Are you letting go? Are you just cleansing yourself? Are you taking this time just to look at this as like a cyclical end, carving out all of your insides? Sorry to use that word, but just like letting everything out and clearing a blank canvas, like having a blank space. Like, is that what you're going to choose to do with your time? Can you view this as a time, like maybe you're just feeling really overwhelmed socially and you like now need to just completely withdraw into yourself, like, and you just need to take some days by yourself. This is a calling for like introspection, a time where you can just go, people are really pissing me off. I want to be alone. Like, let me be alone. Like, I don't know, like those are just some examples, but there are ways that you can view this time as a gift, because there are going to be times in life that are outside of your menstrual cycle that you need to slow down, and you need to learn how to take care of yourself in rest. You need to learn what your body feels like when it needs rest, when it needs like a moment of introspection, a moment of quiet, a moment of peace, a moment of letting go. Like, this is a state of life that exists outside of these days, and this is an opportunity where you can get acquainted and get familiar with the version of you that looks like this, the version of you that looks tired, the version of you that has no energy, and the version of you that shouldn't be pushed out of that state of being, and the version of you that deserves to sit there, deserves to stay there, and should be honored there. Caffeine is a beautiful medicine. I am not anti-coffee. I am anti-coffee on days like 1 to 4 of your period, of your menstrual cycle. I'm anti-coffee and I am anti-ice bath on days 1 to 4 of your menstrual cycle. Ladies, take this from me. No coffee, no ice baths on day 1 to 4 of your menstrual cycle. Please. Please. Because like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want to add this narrative, you're in winter, like your body is cold, you need to be eating spicing, warming, like soft, like enveloping, enriching, nourishing food. You want to be in environments that aren't pushing you. Like, these are all ideals. Because again, I understand that reality can't always meet our ideals, but I'm just trying to paint the picture. Because I need to show you why, like, caffeine, please don't do it. Anyway, I think I've harped on about that enough, because we started here. We started with magnesium enrichment. Again, magnesium supports that softening. It supports that slowness. It gives your body like a bit of room just to be like, ooh, I'm just gonna feel heavy, and that feels good. And this drink, I have a pretty sensitive body. I'm pretty tuned in to all of its little like shifts and ticks and everything. And like I can be eating, and this is a personal anecdote. I've been eating like a chocolate croissant on day 1 or 2 of my period. And I've started eating the chocolate croissant, and like 3/4 of the way through, I've felt my cramps start to spike. I'm just sensitive. This, even though it's got comparatively a lot of sugar in it, doesn't spike my cramps. And it's also got a lot of, I don't know if it's like the combination of the magnesium. It's also got, what else has it got in it? Magnesium, calcium, iron, and zinc. And vitamin C, vitamin B1, folate, and vitamin D. Don't get it twisted. Those vitamins and minerals are far behind the sugar. I think it's like malt barley and maltodextrin and sugar are the first like 3. So like, don't get it twisted. But if you do want to try it, magnesium is your best friend. It's why people started talking about tart cherry juice. That's apparently a source of magnesium. It's also so delicious on your period. I go through phases of like, that's the thing that I buy myself in luteal, because it's tart, but it's sweet. And it like, that tartness, I think really it hits the head of like your cravings when you're on your bleed. Same with like the bitterness of the dark chocolate. Like, as much as my body craves sweet because it's a pleasurable experience to eat something sweet, more and more as I've been playing around with my diet, as I've been in these different phases, tartness, like the combination of like a tart sweet seems to just like hit everything over the head way better. So like tart cherry juice, yes. Magnesium is why people have cacao as well. Cacao is really high in magnesium. It's really good for you. That's why I swap to like cacao paste or ceremonial green cacao if I have it. But you know what? This is just as good. And I love it. And it supports that mind frame of what I was saying at work, becoming the immovable object. Like, as much as I take ease and it's like so easy to be at home and just like live in whatever you're living in, life will happen. You won't be able to live in the idealized landscape that you want to be in for your whole menstrual phase. Sometimes you will have to go to work. Sometimes you'll have to go grocery shopping. Sometimes you'll have to see friends or have to see family or go to the bank or like do whatever. But I've found that if I can just acknowledge that like I have this much bandwidth, this much tolerance, and it is okay for me to have this much bandwidth and this much tolerance. It's okay for me to not be as reactive. It's okay for me to not be as expressive. It's okay for me to not be as peppy or as like positively charged. Like, it is okay for me to be sensitive and vulnerable and irritable, because that is the state that my body is in. My body is currently in a shedding. And I respect that and I honor that. And I try to keep that my priority, to like respect and honor that and like view it as a gift. View it as the gift that it is and use the tools that support that. So I think that's all I've been able to like crank out of me, really. Yeah. I feel like so many women have been robbed of this opportunity to connect with themselves and to rewire their brain around something that is just so deeply connected to us, like our own rhythm and our own body's unique like timing. And yeah, it's such an empowering thing to take that back in you and to like respect your body at every single phase, every little signpost that you're on. Like each phase has its own, I guess, has its own positives and its negatives, and like your body will have its own tells of like where it's at. And to be able to learn that, to be able to empower yourself with the knowledge of your own self is truly, it changed my life. And it's why I want to make these videos, so it can hopefully inspire you. But yeah, I really just invite you to take a new perspective on your menstrual cycle. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any of those like more drastic imbalances, PCOS, PMDD, endometriosis, if you're in perimenopause and there's like fluctuations, if you just started your period, like there's so many different, I guess more like times that there's so much more fluctuation. Like you one, deserve to work through those imbalances, and you deserve to have a period that is calm and beneficial and something that fulfills your life, that you can enjoy. Because I understand that like not everyone is just like at the ready set go to be able to swap into enjoying the menstrual like next cycle, but you're also deserving of the care. You deserve the investigation, you deserve the curiosity, the interest, the time, the integrity to look into your health, to look into the imbalances, to look into your hormones, to look at your lifestyle, to make those changes, to commit to them. You deserve practitioners that care about you, that listen to you. Like I cannot say enough also, like if you are somebody that experiencing like a pleasurable menstrual cycle feels like such a far away thing, I know for me, it took years. It's taken years for me to get to this point, and like that's a whole other story, but like you deserve to enjoy yourself at every single moment of your life. You deserve to enjoy every single way your body shifts and changes. You deserve to honor yourself at every moment, and you deserve the care and the extra support. If you are somebody that needs that, you deserve that. You are worth the extra care. You're worth a whole other person looking into your body and trying to find the answer. Like you're worth resolution and, you know, equilibrium. You're like, you deserve that. It's like another one of those things that like I start to lose myself because I'm like, oh my God. It just makes me so sad to hear women and people with the cycle, people with the period just feel so at odds with themselves, and, you know, just find other ways to like for their mind to have to grapple with this, and like for their mind to like take the path of like shaming or pathologizing like a part of themselves as a problem, when really there is something calling out for help. And that's underpinned by a society that tells you that like being in a different pace, being at a slower pace is a problem, and it's something that we don't have time for, and it's something that we don't have space for, and it's something that we don't have leniency for, and it's something that we don't want to prioritize, and we don't want to make that like the goal. We just want people to be fast and efficient and to like power through things and have the same consistent energy and output and everything, and it's just gotta be further from the case. It is a gift to be able to live in your own personal rhythm, to know yourself, to feel yourself, and to like honor yourself at every phase. Because yeah, like I said, there's going to be more times than just your menstrual cycle when you find yourself in that same energy of like low level output, not a lot to give, grief, shedding, transformation, change, introspection, like that more like hermetic feeling. And those states, those phases of being are not to be rushed, are not to be skipped over, are not to be like shamed or taken from you or pushed away from you. They can be lent into, you can involve them in your life, and you can immerse yourself in them and like really gain a lot from them. But yeah, very passionate about it. I'm also really passionate about period underwear, and I wish I could talk about it a little bit longer, but I think the video is getting too long. But TLDR, if you're not using period underwear, my girl, use period underwear. Cups are great. I've used the slim cups. I haven't really used like those, like the more new wide cups. I don't know if it makes any difference to suction, but like they definitely beat tampons, but like when you go from like tampon to cup, amazing difference. When you go from cup to period underwear, you can never go back. I swear to God. The only time I ever use my cup now is if I have to go to like the sauna or swimming. But nah, I just tried. Oh, sometimes I like to go to the sauna on my period though, and I just like go to the magnesium pool and steam room and then in the sauna, and I just don't touch the ice bath. But yeah, I don't use a cup, but I have one for situations that call for it. But yeah, period underwear. Wish I could talk about it more, but I'm running out of time because I don't want to edit this. But yeah, I hope this last little chat, I hope it can give you something to start to value this beautiful phase of the menstrual cycle. Like, I know you don't have a lot of progesterone. It's when it starts waning, because progesterone's really easy to start to love. Luteal is the first phase of my cycle that I ever learned to really love. I'm learning to fall, like, and then I started to love my menstrual, and I'm learning to fall in love with like follicular at the moment. But yeah, hopefully this inspires something in you. But yeah, I'll talk to you later in another video. I don't know when, I don't know why, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to me rattle on about something that I really care about. For God knows how long. Haven't edited the video yet, but I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for listening to me, for including me in your day. That's so awesome. Thanks. And I'll see you in the next one.